work, but seem to kind of put them in a slump. They're at 2 consecutive losses now. A third one would be the most they've been looking at.
Somebody who has not been trying too many new things is that guy right there, Medios.
You don't say.
Has only played. Yeah, they have only won games when he's on Lee Sin. He's 7-0 on Lee Sin. They've lost every single game that he has not been on Lee Sin. 0-4.
So what you're telling me is
Lee Sin's a high priority for Cloud9 right now. Just by pure numbers, 7 straight wins with the champion. Those are the only wins that they have gotten.
And this isn't, this is knowledge that teams will know, will look at. You can't look by the king of the jungle right now, or he will make it hurt.
They're looking to go for, again here. They ban Elise, and they're looking to first pick Lee Sin. Once
Squeeze
again,
out
you
the
LMQ
Lee.
candle, good counter right there. They notice what Cloud9 are going to go for.
So that means the game's over, right? It was at least in.
No, the game has just begun.
Well, it seems so. The second blind pick Kassadin today, and it's the first priority coming in for Cloud9.
Hai is a really big fan of this champion. I was definitely wondering what he was going to fall on nowadays, because he's been bouncing around so much with his champion pool. Very sporadic choices from Hai, but this time, something he's very comfortable with. He really loves champions like Kassadin who can snowball off of a couple early kills from roaming around. Yep. So really just plays right into Hai's whole style, really. We'll see if he can actually get this Kassadin going, though, because Kassadin does rely on, that first kill. He really excels in chasing people down in, jungle skirmishes and things like that. So we'll see how Cloud9 can actually create those situations for Hai to shine.
Worked quite well for Complexity earlier, Kobe. We'll see if they can put it into effect.
When I say all that, however, Kassadin could very well go top.
That's right.
We haven't seen Falls use it yet. But
there is that inkling that we've been seeing a Kassadin top, which I talked about a little earlier. We'll see if it actually happens. Interesting that Moore, with Thresh up, picks Braum. Even Morgana, too. Moore is very much a playmaker. You can do that on Braum, but the hooks and the lanterns, the bindings, it's a little more playmaking than throwing out some slow.
Yeah, a lot of shields picked up here for LMQ. As I was saying before, like Braum, he doesn't necessarily have the strongest long-range engage for the team, but he is so strong defensively, it allows you to not have to bring a tank from your jungle or top lane position, since as a support, he can get just as tanky with all the damage reduction from his giant shield. They pair that with a Lulu pick, who can either go mid or top lane, and already LMQ have substantial defenses without having to invest in one of the traditional tanks.
A discussion with Vasily on the screen as well. Looking at Thresh over for Lemonation. Let's see what he locks in. He looks to be making plays as well.
Yeah, the Rengar has already been locked in for Medios, and that is such a good combo with Kassadin. Talking about chasing people down, Rengar, boom, as soon as he hits level 6, he'll come in for that stealth gank, and he can not exactly 100% somebody by himself that early on, but he can get you low enough that Kassadin can easily capitalize on that gank. Even if Kassadin is sitting back farming minions, post level 6, he can definitely jump on any sort of gank that Medios is getting himself into, especially with teleport. Right. He'll be able to get into any action anywhere on the map.
So we are going to get a switch up in Champion Select. I believe there was a selection that went through. If you make somebody aware of that, if there was a mishap before the other picks go through, then obviously that is reset. So they're going to get fixed up on that. Probably not the Amumu Ezreal.
Yeah, we'll get right back into it pretty soon here. But already some interesting things coming out from both teams. Like we talked about, super shielding from LMQ. Does this signal late game hyper carry for them? Or are they just going to go full kite comp here? Definitely depends on which lane Lulu's going to go into. Excited to see.
It will be interesting in the fact that LMQ always wants to go forward, depending on whatever they're against or what they get. They kind of went with the Pantheon. Their forward motion kind of aggression didn't work with that. So I think any picks they take besides this, even going against the Kassadin, they'll be able to push that out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. But C9 with the two assassins of Rengar and Kassadin. That's
true.
I feel like that combo...
And the playstyle of Medios and Hai.
Is just waiting to explode. That can easily snowball out of control because both those champions just need a couple of kills to get going. Rengar, as soon as he starts stacking up his Bone Tooth necklace, gets out of control really quickly. And Medios has been practicing this champion a lot in the jungle.
He has.
We'll see if he's perfected his skills yet.
An unfortunate loss on his first play, but the whole team loses, not just one person sometimes. I'm just kidding. Coming up, Champion Select is resetting itself. We're almost through, and we'll get the picks and bans underway to let you know what these guys have done in kind of the chess portion of the game. What pieces are going to be put into place right now. Cloud9, as we said, looking at that, Kassadin, the Rengar, and the Thresh. Was really surprised that Moore didn't take that Thresh with the plays he's been coming out with. They decided to go Braum this time, and that's kind of what we were talking about. Their team's focused on shields, focused on defense.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because anytime you're going against really heavy assassin teams, stacking shields and defenses like this is a good option. So LMQ already with a pretty good game plan. We'll see if they add more on top of this because, you know, Orianna's still up, could easily have the same combo that Dignitas went with Lulu plus Orianna as your solo laners, and then Braum as your support. Ridiculously good defensive kiting team, and it would be a change of pace for LMQ. We talked about them analyzing their late game execution. Maybe they're just going to bring a whole new style to Cloud9 and not want to repeat the loss that they had previously.
It was definitely a different game. As we were saying before, the first time that they played, a very back-and-forth game, and it's going to show that again at 7-4 each. Both of these teams sitting near the top want to be in that top position, and like we said, whoever gets this, that three-way tie for first is going to come off of this. It's something we've seen that's always been in the middle of the pack in North America, and to see all of the caliber this year sitting at the top has really mixed things up, and we see the upsets coming in today as well.
Yeah, everybody wants to be on the top. There's a scramble now in North America. Everyone's clawing their way. As soon as you think you've got some good fantasy picks and there's a team that's riding high on a good win streak, they immediately get upset the next week.
Well, looking back at the picks, we did say when Meteos gets that Lee Sin, he will be winning. We said his Rengar previous play was a loss, but their win against LMQ did come from that Lee Sin play. So
the flip side is that every time he's not on Lee Sin, they lose. Currently, they have Rengar. It could be switched up to the top lane, and Balls could take it. But currently, he's selecting a champion that is not named Lee Sin. So if we go by the data, that's
history repeats
itself. Rough.
Always, right? It's got to be that way. Just don't overlap, and you won't break the timeline. We got the Orianna Kobe being locked in. You said that was still up, and Xiaowei Xiao has been no stranger to utility play mid-champion. So he'll be happy to put out some damage. And we get the Graves pick. Graves is locked in the game. A Kog'Maw as well from the other side. Fantastic.
Quick picks coming in here. They combo this stacking of shields with non-late game AD carry, Graves. He is a very burst-oriented AD carry.
Show how much grit.
However, it's a lot of area of effect damage, so they can't just go with the strategy of annihilating you in a team fight. They can easily AoE down pretty much the entire Cloud9 team if they catch them in a group. Something that LMQ may not be aware of, though, Cloud9, one of their greatest strengths last year was playing against AoE teams, against these team fight AoE dragon contenders. Cloud9, they just split up so well. Their team fight positioning is immaculate. They never have two threats standing next to each other in a team fight. They are always able to disperse and then collapse again for reinitiation. So if they go how things have trended with Cloud9, Cloud9 should be able to work around all of this AoE, but it looks impressive from LMQ right now. They've got a great burst combo.
Impressive indeed. LMQ also, like you said, the fight disengaging, always knowing where to position. I don't think one time when they played against Complexity and Westroyce was on Malphite, he ever hit more than a one-person unstoppable force. Like you said, these teams know how to fight it out. The game's about to go live right now, so let's see who you think will come out on top. According to LOL Esports, 65% of you think it's going to be Cloud9 racking up the win in one of our closest votes today.
If you don't like those numbers, though, you can keep on voting and send in your hashtag C9win or hashtag LMQwin to @LOL Esports. We will be checking back in throughout the entire game and get your real-time reactions.
So we get the Graves play coming in here. Definitely getting a lot of champions coming in week 5 here. It's some Ari play, other stuff.
Got to play Graves before 410 hits because Graves loves Bloodthirster in its current form, 4.9 for the tournament realm.
Get that last bit of love.
He scales so well with just flat attack damage, all of his abilities. So he's going to get his playtime in now.
I like the fact that they have that Jarvan to sink everybody in the middle, a Shockwave to sink everybody in, and then you hit collateral damage with a nice buckshot. It's all easier to say than do. But.
Yeah, you don't have to kite back if you have a comp with Orianna and Lulu. It's easy. But if you add a Jarvan into that mix, then you pretty much just switch the entire clip there, because Jarvan is almost always jumping in with the ball and going for the shockwave dunk.
Well, here we go. Before we take off to England for Wembley, our final game of Week 5 of the NALCS. We're locked in and ready to rock out. Cloud9 versus LMQ. We're on the Rift.
This team fight from LMQ just looks so fun. I feel like we'll see No Name stacked up with double shields from Lulu and Orianna, and then as soon as he jumps in for the shockwave, Moore will follow right behind him.
Yep.
And tell him to stand aside for a very quick dive from these two.
Vasily twerking. Makes
Mafia Master Vasily.
You got to be aggressive on Graves. I'm very interested to see how Vasily plays this matchup, because that falls right into line with his style.
Especially if they do match up normal lanes like we're looking right now. Graves definitely benefits from shoving a wave really quickly. So that's exactly what Braum wants to do anyway. Yeah. And Braum with the Targon. If LMQ can get Vasily and Moore into a lane first, then it will be really big for them. And it will actually be a very good sign. Sneak in Lemon Nation with that Kog'Maw. He's just looking to try and farm up for the beginning of the game.
Keeping themselves safe. Always see Lemon Nation not going for the early Sightstone for vision in that bottom lane. Something they even played back to the Ashe Zyra, where they ward sometimes, use plants, and use the Hawk Shot.
Now, a lot of teams, when you're defending late invades, do not like to stand in this bush behind Red Buff anymore, just because everyone did that for so long that you throw blind skill shots into it. Moore doesn't throw the blind skill shot. Wait till he sees his target, and he gets the flash for his troubles.
Could have been pretty bad.
Successful late invade, and we will see 2 versus 2. So Moore and Vasily, you see them. Vasily waits for Braum to get there and stand in front of him. They don't want to face check that bush and have the AD carry take a large amount of damage. This is something that happens a lot in solo queue, where your duo lane will get chunked out right at the beginning of the game. A little bit cheesy of a tactic, but Vasily and Moore protect themselves by having the large man with the mustache walk first. I guess they're both pretty large men with mustaches, though.
Yeah, that's true. Graves not tiny. Get to safety, and they start farming out the lanes. We're getting standard matchup once again, which is going to be fantastic. Love to see what the dual lanes can put against each other. And we get a little bit more in the mid lane as well. It's been left apart in the 2v nuns on an island, which has been a little different when you get the lane swaps. That's just how it goes. Meteos getting his red invade. We'll see this soon coming in from No Name.
Yeah, Rengar, his early game isn't the best, so he's having a bit more trouble countering and getting the answer back to have his double buff. However, he successfully gets it, just a little bit behind. You can see an experience here. No Name off to a very good start. Now the changes to Jarvan, meant for his laning phase for top lane Jarvans, actually helped out his jungle a lot, because the change to his passive, where it's actually more damage now, 10%, and just a longer cooldown, just means he has more burst for his gank. Since you don't really get 2 procs of it off early anyway, he just has much stronger ganks now. Very, very high impact when he comes in with a lot of burst damage with his combo.
Very long route he's taking here,
See if he can catch anybody off guard. I also like to track with every Jarvan here. If they max double.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, the lockup from Concussive Blows. He did not expect the extra crowd control. And No Name sneaks all the way around. The ward has been placed that would have caught No Name now.
Yeah, a little bit too late on that one. Doesn't see the Jarvan come through. Jarvan is one of the hardest junglers to ward against, though, because even if you ward that spot, No Name has the option of flag and drag right over that dragon wall. So he could have gotten that gank off multiple ways. Does get first blood for himself, and that's very important for Jarvan. He really, really likes the snowball early here. Let's see what he is leveling up, because that burst damage definitely paid off there. He might just go the standard route, Q into flag. Waiting to see if anybody maxes the shield second, though.
It'll be a different game for No Name this time. We'll see how much more aggressive he plays versus their game against CLG. He went 1-6-7 on that Jarvan, so...
Well, the other thing is, he is the one on LMQ who started with a sweeper. He didn't even switch it out. Whereas Cloud9, they had Lemon Nation start with their sweeper down in the bottom. So Lemon Nation having to go back early, is at least able to complete his Sightstone. And that's at least a small bonus for them. Right. He didn't have to go back before he had enough money for that. Looks like he actually might have had to sell a few small odds and ends to complete it because he has no consumables.
Right. Didn't have everything he wanted. You can see Moore leaving the lane. Sneaky tries to take aggression on that. Already wasting out his mana. Without that on Bio Arcane Barrage now, he's definitely using a lot more Caustic Spittle in that Void Ooze.
All right. Now, let's take a look at this top lane matchup because Renekton versus Lulu. Lulu is a very annoying laner to go against for pretty much all melee champions. Wow, we're going to have a third champion coming up here, though. No Name does make him way up the river.
He's close.
Slow
they got
lands.
Glitter Lance in.
He's waiting for the second round
too.
Here.
There goes the ward. He's going to have the Slice and Dice, and actually No Name stands in way for the Slice and Dice to occur. Unfortunate on that one. They don't get a flash out of balls either.
Yeah, he did get a lot of harass down, though. We'll force him back. Now, Renekton, it's very, very good for balls that he didn't have to blow his summoner because the advantage Renekton has over Lulu is kill pressure.
Oh, this is a great counter, but they have the ward there already. No Name thinks he can go versus 3. Going to be very dangerous. Flag drag over to the opposite side he wants to be on now, and it's going to be a bit of a ring around the rosy if he can get out. Full vision, waiting for the flag and drag. No. Flashes over the wall to safety and really just saves face on that one.
What a hilarious series of events right there. Meteos flashes into that bush to try and get his leap strike off to close the distance, but Zhao was already out of range there, blowing his flash, and then Meteos is not able to get the jump onto No Name, who flag and drags over. Bunch of hopscotch going on in the mid lane, and actually a pink ward is wasted in the process. Somebody dropped that on accident. There's no stealth champions that they were looking to keep track of there. It was just a misclick. Happens in the heat of the moment where everybody's jumping around.
Moving around, still watching pressure here. No Name, you can see his first buy, didn't even get the stone. Actually went for the damage as he goes for his lizard, and he had a pink and a green to come out of base with, so they're just trying to pressure their lead a little bit more. That was kind of foiled a little bit, and they wasted a flash or a few. But they're trying to regain position, and like Cloud9 said here, that 3-man roam team is everywhere. No Name's always with another 2 people.
Well, right now, he's circling around bottom side once again. And as we said, there are many paths that Jarvan can take to gank you. A lot of them have been warded by Cloud9. However, you can go with the classic flag and drag over into the small bush there. That would still be available for him. He continues to farm, though. He wants that level 6 Cataclysm. But that gank path is always there. Secondary blue buff spawns. Looks like nobody's going for their invade. And then we'll just be given over to mid laners as usual.
This is really got to be careful, though. Kobe High is now 7. You're going to see a bit of roaming from him, if even necessary. And that's where that first kill came from Prolly earlier today in his Kassadin game. See if LMQ can dodge out this aggression that may be triggered by Cloud9 soon in their roam. Blue buffs traded over. Meteos not level 6 yet, but neither is No Name, so we're not going to see those. Oh, never mind.
Great timing, Riv. Meteos is also going with the Mad Treads, probably into Feral Flare there. We haven't seen many Rangars keep Feral Flare as well, or keep Mad Treads with a Spirit item, which some other junglers do. But yeah, the Samsung junglers have done the Feral Flare Rengar as well. A lot of success for them, but Meteos trying something new for himself. Last time he went Spirit of the Elder Lizard, which is, you know, more assassination potential, but Flare here, playing more for late game. Attack speed is very, very strong for Rengar. Also, Meteos wants to keep 5 stacks of Fury before he goes for a gank. You always want to stack up 5 before you pop your ulti because it does not generate them while you're in stealth anymore. It increases your rate after you pop out of stealth. So if you go into it with 5 already, then you have the highest chance of taking somebody down. And when you're in the jungle, you have an easy option of just staying at your jungle camp longer to charge those Fury up. Now that he's level 6, and he's got red buff, and he's got 5 Fury, I expect Meteos to go for a kill right now. Looks like he's headed bottom lane, and High will probably want to coordinate that with him as well. Talked about the dual assassins here. See if they can actually make it happen. This is a pretty crucial point for Cloud9 to get their snowball rolling.
See what Meteos can do as he comes out of base. Looks like he will be headed down towards that bottom side.
It's pushed up, though.
Should come back. One more wave in. Meteos, as we've said before, even when the double jungle happens, he gets a lot of the farm. So it almost seems like the Feral Flare and him kind of hanging out in the jungle to get bigger works in his favor. Because when he comes out and he's for sure about the gank, it always goes in Cloud9's favor.
Well, it looks like he has given up on bottom lane, so he might regret that, as No Name's been sitting around here looking for a gank as well. We'll see how defensively this Cloud9 bottom lane can play. If they do it right and Sneaky's up front and Lemonation plays further back, then they can just rely on the Lantern to get him out of Cataclysm or any sort of trouble that he gets himself into. Looks like they do play it sufficiently safe, and No Name gives up, gets bored.
Very different. I'm sure players are getting antsy now. We would have seen Lemonation roaming for ganks as well in the different lane situation. Sneaky 77 to the 90 of Vasily in that lane pressure that they're able to put on. Going very well in that lane. And if Graves can get big in this fight, it's going to be very hard for them to take him down with all the shields.
Yeah, looks like they're just going to be happily farming down there. Meanwhile, curious that Cloud9 have not tried to kill this Lulu earlier in the game. A lot of teams, when they see a top lane Lulu, will even go for early dives on her before she hits that level 6, while she still is a squishy mage. It's a good deep wards here from Ackerman, supplementing that green one that just ran out with a trinket ward placed even deeper, because he wants to get vision of Meteos as he's on his way to gank the lane. Won't be able to see him after he activates his ult. So deep vision, very important against Rengar. Similar to Evelynn. And Ackerman doing a very fine job of keeping himself safe.
Safe and CS'd up, 112 to 96 in that. Doesn't look like they're going to try to move on anything just yet. Both teams kind of stalemating each other out. Dragon's definitely going to be an option quite soon. But LMQ's already got the vision on that. High has been taking chances of constant harass onto Xiao and trying to push him off the lane. But easy shields actually coming in from him, keeping himself safe in that lane. He's actually leveling the dissonance.
Quick move over here. They force Sneaky back to base. LMQ go for the Dragon. Strong timing for them. Call the jungler down. Very good call here. Sneaky won't be able to make it, so should be an easy objective for LMQ.
You just saw Meteos typing on his screen saying what time Dragon is, so they have that pretty much down to the second. Cloud9 will be able to contest the next Dragon spawn.
Here's that classic gank up top. It took a lot longer than usual for Meteos to make his way up here. And Ackerman is already well past his level 6. They are going for the dive, though. Great Glitter Lance to stall this one.
A little too patient.
I
like how Balls played that one, saying, I'm not being aggressive, but he eats the Glitter Lance to the face, and nobody likes glitter. Very nicely played by Xiao, putting himself right on top of High for the dissonance to work on damage and allow him to move around. Keeps himself clean.
There's a flexible one there, dodging in and out. Now, that was although nothing happened up top, pretty big. Cloud9 do not get to use that Rengar ulti.
Flashes, Glacial Fissure comes out, a very nice box is going to keep them in range of the turret for a little bit longer, but Moore is getting out of this one. They got to be very careful here. Vasily taking some more shots. The teleport coming in from Balls in the top lane. Sneaky hitting the final arcane barrage shots that are necessary. Look out, Sneaky gonna get hit up one more time. There's nothing that Moore can do. It's going to be Balls trying to come in and help this out. Effective health going out to Moore from Wild Growth. They get themselves into a bit of a tunneled situation, and Sneaky's gonna go ahead and back off on this as much as he can. Avoid use would be very helpful, but looks like Balls can get himself out of the danger himself.
So they trade here. Support kill for AD carry kill. However, Meteos has been able to fill in that top lane for Cloud9. So they rotate Sunburn from the jungle out to the open lane, whereas LMQ, they committed their jungler down bottom. So they weren't able to get anyone into that open lane after both top laners decided to teleport down bottom. And basically what happened is Cloud9 get a free lane of experience, shoving that one into the turret. So they come out slightly ahead, even though it was a 1-for-1 trade.
And that turret becomes prepped for gold, really, in any necessary situation when they want it. Coverage going around on the bottom side of the map. I expect to see a bit more aggression down there. We see Meteos hovering that way already. And a little back and forth as Vasily not looking too strong in this engagement in the HP area, along with Sneaky. So the AD carries have to be very careful right now. Everybody's getting a little roam on.
Battle over the pink wards. Looks like LMQ decided to give this one up. Meteos does have his ulti ready once again. Stacked up 5 Ferocity as well. And getting the red buff.
Says no thank you. Going back to the mid lane. Yeah, there's a lot of farm there he would be missing if he did not go back to mid. So good call. He actually puts a little bit of damage onto Xiao first and goes back for that. Looks very close to be going down in the bottom lane. LMQ would love to create more pressure around the map.
Going for this dive.
Not damage to Moore right now. It actually goes to No Name. Drops Cataclysm immediately. And Moore is still trying to go hard on this. Here comes Meteos. We'll see what kind of damage he can put out. Moore instantly stand behind me to Vasily. The shot back and forth in the draw. A Cathian surprise is going to be doing true damage to Moore. They allow Hai to come over the side. Hai picks up that first kill now for Kassadin. It's going to be big.
Sneaky with the greed, and this time around it is Hai who roams, so Xiao gets the shove into lane, denying experience.
Yeah.
Extra kills for Cloud9 though.
More
here.
look at this.
So this is the burst damage that's available with the Graves-Jarvan combo. Annihilated before Cataclysm even hits the ground. Sneaky plays this pretty well up into the last hit here. So he keeps Vasily interested, then wants one more shot as he shoots his Q, which costs him an auto attack from Vasily, and does go down.
If that would have happened the other way around, and he killed Sneaky first, he would have leveled up and probably actually lived, because he leveled as soon as he died. Interesting engagement in the bottom lane. Ackerman getting hit up and just on the edge of his little Lulu hat. He gets the safety. 4-3 here, looking at 17 minutes in. The gold lead's only about around 1,000 deficit for Cloud9, so very much anybody's game right now. You see a lot more focus towards the top lane. Looks like they will be getting this prep turret down for some more cash money.
Cloud9 doing a lot of work clearing out all these pink wards as well. Down bottom and up top. There's one more left, and there was a pink on it already. Looks like Moore could get cornered.
Not too much damage coming out onto Moore. That's an easy turret for Vasily and the rest of the team. Pressure created and relieved in the bottom lane. Good job from LMQ. Spreading the gold lead a little bit, but we're even in turrets. Looking at this mid one, after this dragon in 1 minute, if LMQ comes up big, they can take a lot.
Yeah, I think LMQ are really going to look to force this next dragon because their combo is shaping up very nicely. No Name's gone full offense here, and if they just back him up with the 2 AP solo laners worth of shields, he jumps right into the middle, gets everybody's attention. Vasily has a large amount of burst damage and doesn't have to worry about his defensives. It's a very strong combo here from LMQ at the next dragon fight. We'll see if Cloud9 want to take it, or if Cloud9 can actually pick somebody off beforehand. All depends on how many wards they can get down first. Outer turrets are definitely going to help.
They have the position to take mid first and really start to deny around the map. Very, very spread out for Cloud9 right now. Just look how LMQ is swarming everything right under the turret. Vasily going very hard. Doesn't get all the damage he wants to get the kill out, but Hai cannot aggress, and they are setting themselves up perfectly for Dragon right now.
A couple of ultis for a couple of flashes here. LMQ just spend ultimates, however, Cloud9 down 2 flashes after both of those exchanges.
Oh dear.
Hai does have home guard, so he's coming as quickly as possible, but it's too little too late. LMQ finished the dragon.
Oh, grab from the backside. Very split again for this one. Sneaky trying to walk in.
They know Lemon has no flash.
Oh, there's the hits. They get the ignite down. That's going to be a good damage. The dissonance is enough to power through. Xiao going for a full W level on that and then leveling the ball throughout the game. And they're able to come up with some good kills. Now setting back up to try and stop this in mid. LMQ seems to be on the ball.
They also leave Xiao down bottom, so they are getting an extra lane of golden experience worth of minions here, trying to rely on their second AP solo laner, Ackerman, to help clear these waves. Definitely having Graves on your team helps out as well, and they are successfully able to defend it. So LMQ come away very, very big, and it's all due to their aggressive style. They don't hesitate to blow these ultimates, and they take these fights. When Hai jumps in on Vasily, Vasily has no fear. He just stands and fights him. Ackerman backs him up with the Lulu ultimate and has to blow flash to get out. Same thing with Lemon. He has to flash away from the shockwave of Xiao. He's not afraid to just blow that shockwave on a single person. And then LMQ reap the rewards, even though they don't get kills out of these. Large chunks of damage, and they not only get that dragon, but they also defend mid.
So one thing you'll always see LMQ doing during the loss of a fight is be there to continue the fight before it actually ends. Spawn and then run back to Dragon and keep fighting. A team that will always stop going if it works or not. 5-3. Now we crest 20 minutes in the game. Ball's doing a great job in top lane at 181 to 149, but that gold lead isn't actually that spread due to the control of the map and the dragons that LMQ has had.
Yeah, look at that difference in mid lane is there. Xiao really strong, and it shows in his completed items. He has a whole 2 items up on Hai right now because Hai has invested more money in his boots as well, going with the home guard. But man, a Death Cap of Fiends, Orianna just has so much more teamfight presence than even that Kassadin, who's gotten a single kill to try and get going. Meanwhile, this Rengar jungle here from Meteos, not coming up with many good plays from him. A lot of flubs so far, and he is going to go pretty much full tank now after his fail flare.
That almost even makes it harder too, because you look at all the shields, all the health you have to get through, you need those damage sources. You're still going to have a few, obviously. Balls is going to fall off though as well. Yeah,
what they're looking for late game for damage is mostly going to be sneaky and high. But you're right, the Renekton and Rengar duo dive guys aren't going to have what it takes to assassinate one of these LMQ squishy targets who aren't even that squishy. I mean, even if you go on Graves, he's got the passive for extra defenses, and then if they decide he's in a tough situation, they can use their shields on Graves instead of on Jarvan to jump in. And LMQ looks they just have so many more options to be able to react to the playstyle that Cloud9 are going with.
And like you said, the damage that Rabadon's Death Cap and the Athenes not really needing to rush a Zhonya's, which you would kind of figure if you're against a Rengar and a Kassadin, they're going to blow you up immediately. But with all those shields and that health, LMQ is going to start building the damage and try to get it done early. We're 22 minutes into the game. They haven't really pushed into any type of closing position on this one.
He's going in again.
He goes to Vasily on the back line. That's going to be the 1-2. He actually is going to get out of this one alive. With all the true grit passive he had stacked up, he's able to live through that with the stand behind me. And the Unbreakable coming in from his teammate Moore. Beautiful job in the bottom lane, but good pressure. Cloud9's going to pick up this turret.
So they catch him this time at least, and they get 2 summoners out of Vasily. But man, all it takes is the summoner heal plus Braum defending Vasily, and we've seen that Cloud9 do not have what it takes to assassinate him. However, once again, chunk somebody down enough, you're rewarded with an objective. Can Cloud9 hold the other side of the map though? You're getting pressured heavily, both on top and mid.
Ward's getting cleared out as LMQ starts to take control again of C9's side of the map. Ackerman taking out the top side. Now they're kind of free to roam around that part of the jungle and get the Fog of War in their favor. The ult, no. A hold coming in to Xiao. Very good timing there. Lemonation could get that ult though. The shockwave happens, but the flash is there, so they eventually get out of it. Meteos is forced to flash out of this as well. And LMQ's presence there kind of changes Cloud9's mind.
Yeah, it's ult going off willy-nilly here. They see Lemonation, just the support by himself. Boom, Cataclysm, boom, Shockwave. Don't get him? Oh well. Take down the turret.
We'll see what they can continue here in the top lane. Throwing down the flag, Vision, a little bit of armor, helping each other out, and they are going to go pretty hard on the turret. The Void Ooze goes out, so they really don't have anything but the knowledge of Kog'Maw being there from that. Balls is going to get hit up, one last Glitter Lance, but no, the Ignite takes him down from Xiao. They try to keep fighting. Vasily gets the Wild Growth, not ready to turn on the fight just yet. No Name does go in, flashes for the fight focus. Hai now takes down Vasily. This is going to be huge. The triple kill, wait a minute, the quadra kill coming up for Hai. Is Xiao in range? The dissonance is going to be there. He's going to run out of mana. Hai will be chasing, but look at the mana bar. It's halfway gone. It's only going to cost more. This could be the extended Penta, coast to coast. One more dissonance was enough for Xiao to get away.
Yeah, that Rift Walk stacking up cost too much mana. But really, did you see the miscommunication there where No Name gets every single shield onto him and flashes out?
Yeah.
That is where this type of composition crumbles. Because you're relying on these AP solo laners as your defense, if the person you're putting these shields on bails out on the fight and doesn't hold true to the all-in strategy, then everything just goes in the trash can. Yeah.
Boom.
Look at that. That's over 1,000 HP worth of shields they funneled onto No Name. And then everybody else is just left holding the bag here. What are we going to do without our front line? High cleans everybody up. What a turnaround for Cloud9. They really needed that.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here, Kobe. You said that High should get a few kills on Cassidy, and I think he's got to that point.
He's got more than a few here. 5-0 for High. Zanya's completed after the last fight. Now he's going to feel
game changer.
really
Another hook to come in. The Wild Growth is there to save No Name. The fight can be reassessed. A 3-person Shockwave back into the fight with Cataclysm. Moore's going to be there down to low HP. Just bleeding out. No Name finally goes down. It's 4v3. High goes down now just after getting a quadra kill. And LMQ is able to turn around into Dragon Engage.
Cloud9 get overconfident.
Oh, the Glitter lands hits on the end. Once again, Glitter being the detriment to this fight.
LMQ showing you what happens when we use all our giant AoE ultimates not on just Lemonation. If they hit the entire team there, blow up Cloud9, and as quickly as that, Cloud9 give, Cloud9 take away.
Wow. Nobody thought that was going to happen just now. Let's go back to the inhibitor turret. LMQ somehow at Dragon, now in the base of Cloud9. 26 minutes. At 20 minutes in the game, both teams were looking eye to eye in mid.
They jump everybody onto No Name, who once again fails.
That
Shockwave onto 3 people, Cataclysm onto 4. Everybody jumps in. High does have a Zanya's, but the front line here not going down fast enough.
That's a combination we talked about, Kobe. Easier said than done, but they just did it. All the crowd control, there for Graves, there for the AoE. Little dangerous getting out of this one. Boss is going to go in. They may lose No Name, but that should be it. They get out, and look at the dissonance damage return as well. Shredding through the team.
This is a fairly ridiculous game we have going.
That's how it was last time, Kobe. The tug of war never ends between Cloud9 and LMQ.
Passing that ball back and forth. Let's see. Cloud9 really need to regroup, though. Control this blue buff at least for themselves, because they've lost a lot on the map after that last route. What they do have going for them, still Sneaky is holding on to Baron buff.
Yeah.
This is pretty much the biggest champion for their team right now. They're relying a lot on that Kog'Maw for late game damage. Midos has gotten his Feral Flare transformation finally. However, with that full defense build following it up, he's not going to be that big threat. And it's pretty much all about Sneaky and High combo. Because same thing for Balls. He's only about slow burn damage. Not going to be able to kill anybody quickly.
Ooh. Sneaky is going for a dangerous, dangerous build. Really relying on that Mikhail's, relying on everything else his scheme can do for him.
He's got to go full damage.
They have to, yeah. Scary, scary stuff. But Kog'Maw, king of that late game hyper carry. He can do it. Seen it change games. The harassment from High coming in. See what he can do. A little damage assess there. Baron, like you said, still on to Sneaky. I don't think they're going to be able to use too much of that. Less than a minute left there. Word dying out that LMQ has vision on Cloud9, being very lax right now. Nothing can be pushed. Nothing can really happen. They're waiting for LMQ to make a move.
Middle inhibitor down. Really, Cloud9 are licking their wounds. Trying to get Sneaky some extra cash flow. They definitely need to calm down a bit, because it looked like after this surge of confidence with that one team fight right into a Baron fight, they kind of threw their whole game plan out the window, and they forgot about spreading out. They forgot about their whole plan of team fighting against an Orianna. I mean, they just got caught off guard once again by the Shockwave, and Jarvan, Graves, easy to follow that one up. They just got demolished, really, by the Dragon.
It's getting harder. Just across the board, the numbers show how this game has gone thoroughly. 3 kills for Ackerman and his solo. And these were standard lanes. Xiao 3 kills for him, and Vasily 3 kills. The people you don't want getting kills. Sneaky and the rest of his team. Then you start spreading those out.
Yep. And Cloud9 do have to be worried, because their vision control on their own side jungle has lacked.
Boom! Sneaky is going to get spread out in general by the rest of the team. Flattened there. The Cathian surprise only going to do so much, and LMQ now has a very big advantage and a power play to work with.
They went for that duo dive that we were going over with Jarvan plus Braum jumping right in onto Sneaky. No way for him to get out of it, even with the Lantern this time. Braum! Oh, he jumps to the minion, then
he didn't even hit the ground.
Then ulti.
He got double alley-ooped before
very,
he could
very
even flash.
Quick move there from Moore.
Wow.
Jump to minion, flash in, ultimate point blank.
Very
Sneaky can do.
Very sweet composition of Jarvan Braum. As they go on to the next inhibitor turret in the game, they've already been able to drop one, slowly whittling down the base of Cloud9. In a back and forth game, the LMQ has finally said, we're in the driver's seat, we're gonna make some moves.
The other thing about this LMQ team, when your defenses are these very strong shields that you can target, it's pretty easy to go for a tower dive. Whoever is the one charging in, Jarvan or Braum, who's the focus of the turret, stack all the shields on that guy and get that shockwave going. It's very easy for them to quickly pull off a tower dive. So even bottom lane, if they decide to go siege up around the bottom lane turrets, Cloud9 have to be very wary of that repeat dive onto Sneaky, because now Sneaky has no flash, and it will only be the Lantern for repositioning.
Dangerous game they're playing here. LMQ showing a little bit of diversity as well once again in their picks. Bringing out the Graves for Vasily on this one. It seems to be working for them all across the board. They've been trying different things back and forth, trying to get themselves out of a slump. Looking at 2 consecutive losses right now. Not wanting a third one would be their longest loss streak. Also, both of these teams looking to share that first place right now for a 3-way tie. LMQ on the verge of doing that a little sooner here than Cloud9 and a 7,000 gold lead. Kobe, 32 minutes. It looks like we are going to get the Baron Samba back in business.
Well, LMQ have a lot of work to do to clear out wards, and they already have 2 exposed inhibitors, so they don't really need to risk a Baron.
Right. Just covering it.
Looks like they are going to go for the exposed inhibitor that is up. As we also said, their team is well equipped to go for tower dive, so they don't even have to venture over to that side of the map.
Not what you want.
It's a big fish, throw it back.
Real big fish. That's great damage onto Ackerman. A good dive here. They could have caught him off guard. Meteos, that's a big shockwave coming out of Xiao Xiao. They start to shred down Cloud9. The double kill for Vasily, and the power of shock and awe that LMQ has right now, and they have controlled and given themselves throughout this game, is now 14-8 overall. The 10,000 gold lead as they start taking on the Nexus turrets, and a pretty convincing middle to late game as LMQ is going to take down Cloud9.
Yeah, congratulations to LMQ picking up the victory here. Much needed for their team, and a very well executed, except for that one slip up.
Doing a great work. You can see Cloud9 really just in their own thoughts, figuring out what happened. Why couldn't they make the picks? A different play for Meteos coming in, trying the Rengar again. Kind of not forced on, but went for the Thero Flare, and that forced him into being not an assassinator. He had to build tanky. They lost damage from another portion of their team, and they didn't have it really from anywhere else, just hot.
Yeah, rough game for Cloud9, pretty much all around. Everything they tried to get going for the early game kind of fizzled out. And going into mid, there was just way too much teamfight control from this LMQ lineup. Very hard for Cloud9 to do anything about that. They had a pretty good window, though, to be fair. LMQ gave them a very nice opening after that failed fight and then Baron. And they immediately brushed up the dragon and got shockwaved.
Like we said, they lose a fight and they keep coming back. Who would have thought that they were going to win a fight just after a quadra kill? They shut down the guy who got the quadra kill immediately, and it was like that fight never happened.